Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to wrap your week up with is going to be so amazing. The gun companies, the big few gun companies that pretty much dominate the industry, just told Mexico, put your money where your mouth is, bend over, shove it, because we're going SCOTUS, baby. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and I can't wait to hear from you guys on this one. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn that notification bell on if you believe in the freedom that we all espouse. Thank you so much for that support in advance, and everything will be linked, as I mentioned. Let's get into it, because beautiful people, when I see some shenanigans called on the carpet by our gun companies that are representing a lot of us in the commercial side of the market and space, it brings a tear to the eye. And like I said, this is one absolute amazing way to end this week. Check this out. Gun makers to ask U.S. Supreme Court to bar Mexico's lawsuit. You know, that lawsuit that's been the whole $10 billion fiasco from Mexico suing our gun companies and our courts with the support of leftist DAs and attorney generals across the United States. You know, that whole shindig, even though there's a federal law prohibiting them from being held responsible. Yeah. They just said, let's go to SCOTUS. Let's talk about them because I think this needs to go there. And if it goes there, oh, baby, this is going to be sweet. Let's get it. Boston, February 9th. U.S. gun manufacturers plan to ask the U.S. Supreme Court to hear their bid to escape Mexico's $10 billion lawsuit seeking to hold them responsible for facilitating the trafficking of weapons to drug cartels across the U.S.-Mexico border. The planned appeal was disclosed during a virtual court hearing on Friday by a lawyer for Smith & Wesson brands after the Boston-based First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals last month overturned a judge's decision dismissing the case. Now, this is what Mexico says. And this is why they're saying, hey, let's go to SCOTUS and have an adult conversation. Check this out. Mexico says over 500,000 guns are trafficked annually from the U.S. into Mexico, of which more than 68% are made by the 8 companies that it sued, which also include Sturm & Ruger, Barrett Firearms Manufacturing, Colts Manufacturing, and Glock. So those companies just said, okay, put your money where your mouth is. Let's go SCOTUS, baby. Because they're sick of it. And wouldn't you be? You're being accused of purposely collaborating with drug cartels intentionally to make money. Not only is there no proof of that, it's also outlandishly stupid. And when you wrap up the entire thing as being headed by someone who left Everytown for Gun Safety and started a Mexico-based accountant or Mexico-based law firm, or internationally focused law firm around gun control, it kind of starts to muddy the waters a little bit. Anyway, I continue. Mexico said the smuggling has contributed to high rates of gun-related deaths, declining investment in economic activity, and a need for it to spend more on law enforcement and public safety. Maybe it has something to do with the cartels rule the country. Maybe it also has something to do with corruption undermines your political system, and your population doesn't have a Second Amendment right to stand up. So they are literally caught in the crossfire between the army and the cartels. I mean, yeah, that sounds like gun control. I mean, that sounds like gun companies' fault. It really is idiotic. But let's continue, because like I said, the gun companies called their bluff, and this is what it was about. Andrew Lelling, Smith & Wesson's lawyer, said on Friday's hearing there was a reasonably good chance the Supreme Court would agree to hear its appeal, and he asked U.S. District Judge Dennis Saylor to put the case on hold until the justices act on the petition. He said the appeal would focus on whether Mexico's claims are barred by a federal law, the PLCAA, or the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, which gives gun manufacturers broad protection from lawsuits over the misuse of their products. Now, that seems pretty open and shut. Well, a circuit court in Boston decided to make the gun companies allowed the lawsuit to go forward. But the entire thing's coming from a different country. Listen to this. This is the last thing here. This case involves a statute that is specifically designed to allow the specific set of defendants to avoid litigation costs if the case at issue falls within the ambit of the statute. That very question is still the one at issue. The First Circuit ruled on January 22nd that while the PLCAA can be applied to lawsuits by foreign governments, Mexico's lawsuit plausibly alleges a type of claim that is statutorily exempt from the PLCAA's general prohibition. What do you think that the Everytown for Gun Safety lawyers who bounced out of Everytown and did an international gun control group to sue these companies from Mexico, what do you bet that was designed just in that way to circumvent the PLCAA in order to hurt the gun companies. What do you bet, guys? Because the PLCAA clearly says you can't sue them. So what they're having to prove now is that they intentionally sold guns and trafficked the guns as the companies in the United States to Mexico cartels. That's what they're saying they have to do to get around the PLCAA. Willful negligence or willful desire to get around the law. Good luck proving that one. If the SCOTUS takes this up, just like everything else that the gun controllers do, it will backfire on them in a big way. And now the little push for the PLCAA to get repealed and all that kind of crap that Biden always says, it's not going to carry any water anymore because now you have a case reinforcing it. The more they push against the wall, the harder the wall gets, and that's what I've got for you guys. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.